Right, let's talk about making guns. It's not like knocking together a birdhouse in your shed, is it? This is serious business. It's a craft, a science, and frankly a bit of a dirty job when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it. People depend on these tools to work perfectly every single time. There's no room for near enough is good enough here. If it's not made right, well, that's when things go properly pear-shaped. So, a lot of skilled folks put in a lot of hard graft to make sure these things are built to exacting standards, from the very first idea to the final polish. It all kicks off in the design phase. You've got clever engineers, probably fueled by copious amounts of tea, staring intently at computer screens. They're using sophisticated CAD, that's computer-aided design software. Every single curve, every tiny angle, every dimension is meticulously planned out. They're not just thinking about how it looks or even just how it fires. They're thinking about how it feels in your hand, how the mechanism will cycle smoothly, and crucially, how all the safety features will work without a hitch. This isn't designing a new toaster. Precision here is paramount because mistakes can have serious consequences. Then comes the selection of materials. You can't just use any old bit of metal you find lying about. We're talking about highly specialized steels, chosen for their incredible strength and ability to withstand immense pressures. Think about the forces inside a gun barrel when a shot is fired. It's colossal. So, the steel needs to be top-notch. Sometimes modern polymers are used for frames or stocks, making the firearm lighter. And for some classic guns you'll still see beautifully crafted walnut. Each material is picked for a specific job, to ensure durability and reliability under extreme conditions. Once the right stuff has been chosen, it needs preparing. The raw steel might arrive at the factory as massive bars or thick sheets. It's got to be cut down to manageable sizes, ready for the machines. Before that though, it's often inspected for any hidden flaws or impurities. You don't want a tiny crack in the raw material causing a big problem later on. Think of it like a top chef carefully selecting and preparing their ingredients. Only here, the ingredients are lumps of hardened steel, and the final dish packs a bit more of a punch than a Sunday roast. Now we get to the noisy bit, the part of the factory floor where the real transformation happens: machining. This is where those carefully selected and prepared chunks of metal start to take on the recognizable shapes of gun parts. You'll hear the hum and roar of lathes spinning, milling machines methodically cutting, and sometimes you'll see a shower of sparks. It's an industrial ballet, a symphony of powerful machinery, and it's all about achieving incredible precision. One slip here, one tiny miscalculation, and a crucial component could be ruined. It's a demanding environment, make no mistake. The modern workhorses in most gun factories these days are CNC machines. That stands for Computer Numerical Control. Highly skilled programmers write complex instructions, telling these sophisticated machines exactly where to cut, how deep, and how fast. They can carve out intricate shapes for barrels, receivers, slides, and all the other small, complex bits that make a firearm function as intended. It's truly fascinating to watch these robots at work, shaping stubborn steel with such accuracy, often down to tolerances finer than a human hair. But don't think it's all automated, because it isn't. You still need skilled machinists, proper craftsmen, overseeing these powerful CNC machines. They're the ones who set them up, monitor their performance, and make tiny adjustments to keep everything running perfectly. They also handle tasks that require a more human touch, perhaps some custom work or dealing with a particularly tricky piece of metal. These blokes and lasses often have years of experience. They can tell by the sound or the feel if something isn't quite right, a skill that no computer program can fully replicate. And the amount of waste metal, the swarf, that's produced during machining is quite something. These sharp, often hot spirals and chips of steel pile up quickly and need to be cleared away safely. The cutting tools themselves are a marvel of engineering, made from incredibly hard materials to bite into the workpiece. It's a constant battle of attrition, the tool against the metal, all in the pursuit of creating parts that meet incredibly tight specifications. Every surface, every hole, every groove has to be just so. Once all those individual components have been perfectly machined, perhaps heat-treated for strength, and given their initial finish, it's time for assembly. This isn't like snapping together a model airplane kit you got for Christmas. This is a highly skilled operation, frequently carried out by hand by experienced gunsmiths. Every tiny pin, every carefully tensioned spring, Every precisely shaped lever has its specific place and a critical role to play in the firearm's function. It's like putting together an incredibly complex three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle where every piece must fit perfectly. These meticulously crafted parts need to connect and interact with each other just so. If a slide is too tight on the frame, the gun might fail to cycle properly, which is no good to anyone. If parts are too loose, the firearm could be inaccurate or worse, potentially unsafe. The assembler spends a great deal of time feeling for that perfect, smooth interaction between components. Sometimes they'll use fine files or special abrasive stones to make minuscule adjustments, ensuring that the action is as slick and reliable as it can possibly be. It's a tactile art. Throughout the entire assembly process, there are relentless checks and double checks. Does the safety catch engage positively and securely? Does the magazine lock into place correctly and release without snagging? Is the trigger pull weight within the specified range, not too heavy, not too light? These aren't just quick casual glances, they are focused, critical examinations designed to identify and rectify any potential issues before the firearm progresses any further down the line. It's all about building in layers of quality control and, most importantly, safety from the ground up. Here's an interesting tidbit for you. Many of the very best high-end firearms are still described as being hand-fitted. This means that even though the individual parts are machined to incredibly tight, consistent tolerances by those clever CNC machines, a skilled artisan, a true craftsman, will then spend many hours ensuring that a specific set of parts, say, a particular slide and frame, work together with absolute flawless precision. This dedicated personal attention to detail is often what elevates a merely good gun into the realm of a truly great or even exceptional one. Now we arrive at the moment of truth, the stage that really sorts the wheat from the chaff, the testing phase. Every single firearm, before it's allowed to leave the sanctity of the factory, must undergo what's known as proof testing. This typically involves loading it with specially designed cartridges called proof rounds. These rounds are loaded to generate pressures significantly higher than any standard ammunition would. The gun is then fired remotely, often in a secure test chamber, to ensure that the barrel and action can withstand these extreme forces without failing. It's a rather violent but utterly necessary safety check. After a firearm has successfully and safely endured the rigors of proof testing, it moves on to function testing using standard commercially available ammunition. This is where the testers check if it performs as expected under normal operating conditions. Does it load a round from the magazine smoothly? Does it fire reliably every time the trigger is pulled? Does it eject the spent casing cleanly? And does it then pick up the next round and chamber it correctly? Testers will fire multiple shots, sometimes many magazines, meticulously checking for consistency, reliability, and any hint of a malfunction. But the quality control doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. Once the live fire testing is complete and satisfactory, the firearms undergo final, exhaustive inspections. This includes checking the cosmetic finish. Are there any scratches, blemishes, or imperfections in the bluing or coating? Are all the required markings, such as the manufacturer's name, model, caliber, and serial number, present, correct, and clearly legible? Every tiny detail is scrutinized with a keen eye. Some manufacturers even have dedicated accuracy testing ranges where guns are benched and tested to ensure they meet stringent performance standards. So to wrap it all up, the journey of making a gun is a complex and demanding process. It demands an extraordinary level of precision, right from that initial spark of a design idea through to the very last quality assurance check. It's a fascinating blend of cutting-edge engineering, traditional craftsmanship, and an absolutely unwavering, non-negotiable commitment to safety and quality. It can be a dirty, noisy, and incredibly challenging job, but the end result is a tool that has, for better or worse, undeniably shaped human history. Ensuring these tools are made right, with skill and integrity, that's a heavy responsibility, and one that's taken very seriously.